The Switch is still selling like hotcakes well into 2024. 8 years into the console's lifespan, its successor on the horizon, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X still doing their thing, yet the Switch shows no signs of slowing down at all. In fact, I think the Switch will continue to show strength throughout the next calendar year. In fact, I think it'll be the highest selling console of all time when the gun smoke settles. So, if all the headwind factors that I've already mentioned exist, and will continue to exist if not get stronger, how can I be so sure? Today, that's what we're here to discuss. Let's give a little backdrop into the console sales wars going on here. See, the Switch isn't competing with the PS5 or the Xbox Series X. No, not anymore. They're competing against the PlayStation 2. If you didn't know, the PS2 is the highest selling console of all time. The official reported number that I've seen is around 155 million, give or take. But Jim Ryan did say the PS2 hit 160 million units. I believe the discrepancy is due to the fact that PlayStation, or Sony, I guess, no longer reports PS2 sold numbers. But maybe they keep track of it internally. However, the Nintendo Switch has been reported to have sold at least 144 million units. I'm not sure how often Nintendo reports it, so that number may have increased since it was reported as 144 million units. Now let's take a look historically, because we have to ask ourselves, can the Switch really sell 15 million plus units? Well, last year, the Nintendo Switch reported that Nintendo reported that they sold 16 million units for the 2024 fiscal year. And they themselves expect to sell another 13 million or so units this year. If you're doing the math, then you'll know that 13 million units from this point forward would not hit the 160 million units. Which means they may by the end of this year, which means they may or may not hit 160 million units before the Switch's successor releases. But here's the thing. We don't even know when the Switch successor will be announced, let alone released. Now, yes, there's a lot of theories that we will get the Switch 2, or whatever you want to call it, Switch successor, sometime this month, but Nintendo themselves has said that we will at least hear about it by the end of this fiscal year, which gives them up until March. I believe March 31st, but could be wrong about that. Either way, the Switch's successor will definitely get revealed within the next 6 months, but just because they're announcing it doesn't mean we know the release date, right? It could be released this fiscal year, or they could be planning to hold on to it. Like the Wii U or the Switch was released in March, the end of that fiscal year in 2017. They could do something very similar, and a lot of the games that we've seen lined up could get Switch 2 releases, but we just gotta wait and see for all these future directs. But I will say this, that doesn't concern me. Lately, I've been feeling even better about the Switch's longevity, following the handful of directs that they've done over the last few months. The Indie Showcase, the Partner Showcase, and the main Nintendo Direct we had just a couple of months ago have given me great confidence going into the next year or two for Switch owners. Now, it's true that when a new console is released, typically we see support for older consoles start to shrivel up. So it's natural for you to think, well, once the Switch 2 or Switch successor or whatever they call it comes out, those numbers are going to start to decline pretty rapidly. There's not going to be games made for it. People are going to want the newest console. However, guys, 2025 looks to be very strong. Just rounding out what we have left this year is a new Zelda, a new Mario and Luigi, and a new Mario Party. And that's to say nothing of 2025, which will include the Level 5 Revival, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and Metroid Prime 4, just to name a few of what they've already revealed. And even if those games are released for the Switch successor, I feel pretty confident that a handful of them, if not all of them, will receive simultaneous releases on the Switch. Meaning, I don't even think Nintendo has to be in a rush to release their new console. I know they will be because, I mean, rumors and yada, yada, yada. It's been hinted at forever. They're probably ready to get this over with, too. But the lineup still looks awesome. It just looks great. I mean, Metroid Prime 4, new Zelda, the level 5 stuff, it's just an exciting time to be a Switch owner. But let's just go ahead and say that Nintendo is in a rush. They hurry up and they drop the next generation of gaming offered by Nintendo. Well, again, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's going to lead to a price reduction of the original Nintendo Switch to kind of give players the option. Like, you can have the newest, latest, greatest thing, or, you know, if you're budget-minded, or a lot of us wait a whole generation to get a console. I waited for the PS5 to come out to get a PS4, and it's looking like I may do the same thing for the PS5. So I get it. Some of us are always one generation behind because it's cheaper. So maybe you're feeling that way about the Switch, right? So now let's say there's a price reduction this holiday season, or next holiday season even. This is going to encourage PlayStation owners, Xbox owners, and new gamers altogether to finally jump on the Switch bandwagon who have been on the fence up to this point. With all these factors, I think the Switch will continue to sell well into 2026. Now guys, before we dive into the latest point, if you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe, and remember that comments are always appreciated. Switch sales are going to get a nice shot in the arm later this month when the new Zelda game drops. It's a new Zelda game. People are going to get hyped. I almost think they should have dropped a new Switch model with Tears of the Kingdom, but I also was not expecting this Zelda Echoes of Wisdom to be on the docket too. So they chose to give us the Hyrule Switch Lite Reskin edition for this game instead of Tears of the Kingdom, which I can respect. Again, I didn't know Echoes of Wisdom was going to be a thing when Tears of the Kingdom came out. I was kind of wondering why they didn't do like a Switch OLED, but it kind of makes sense now. And to further that point, I would have preferred an OLED Hyrule Reskin model for me personally if I was going to buy a new Switch. I'm still rocking my base one. However, for the majority of the population, a cheaper Switch Lite model receiving a Zelda reskin is probably going to be a big factor in them buying this newest model, because it will be a relatively affordable version of the Switch and based around a top-selling IP to jump in to the Switch. So I kind of expect Nintendo to have a really, really good holiday season. With all these points in mind, I fail to see how Nintendo won't hit the 160 million units sold by some point around the 2026 fiscal year. So, guys, let's keep an eye on this, because this race is definitely going to heat up after this holiday season. When they report units sold in March, I think it's going to be like, ooh, this is close. We're really getting there. So let me know if you think the Switch will become the highest selling console of all time, or if you think the PS2 will hold it down. If you do think the Switch will pass the PS2, please let me know when you think it'll happen. I don't believe it'll happen by the end of this fiscal year, around March 2025, but I think they'll be close enough to potentially reach the mountaintop by March of 2026. So that's around the time I'm expecting it to be done. With that in mind, thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Switch or Switch successor talk, be sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. And if you're already here, check out some of our other video game discussion videos if you like this. We cover a lot of topics, and I'd love for you guys to let me know what videos you guys want to see here on the channel. We try to be a community-driven channel, so like we always say, guys, comments are appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you guys in the next exciting video. Take care.